Welcome. Recently, I've been streaming quite a bit of PoE, and let's say 80% of the time I've been playing this Fulcrum build, and I get quite a bit of questions on the build, how the build works, etc., etc. And finally, I gave up, and I make a video, kind of explaining how this cast from stun Fulcrum version of mine, how it works, and why I've built it the way I did. I want to first make a huge disclaimer. This build absolutely sucks at bosses. You cannot kill bosses. It sucks at it, okay? You need to swap into this build after playing RF or something like that. However, this setup is an amazing blaster. It excels at blasting maps. So yeah, short disclaimer. I'll first show just a map showcase, and then we'll get into the POV, into the build, etc., etc. I won't run the whole map because it might take a bit too long, but yeah, here we go.
The Atlas twists all fates. Be gone from here.
Also, one other note. You might want to turn off sounds when you play a build like this, because there's kind of a crazy amount of like sound effects going on. It's a bit of a downside. So yeah, we just kind of run through the map, and you see like, okay, shit is dying. I'm not pressing any buttons, right? Just chilling. I won't go into the farming strat that I'm currently doing, but nice. Streamer left. The client is turned on. But yeah, you can see, you know, so much of fire on the ground. Shit's just dying.
Oh, I do so love a good murder.
Good vibes, right?
Care to oblige me?
The Merc here is a good showcase.
Don't try not
just
to
to
deliberate,
see
just
like
keep
the
me
single target
civil,
damage.
shall we?
So you'll see that I'll run away, I'll chill a bit here, and then we walk over to him, and he just kind of
To the
melts.
victor go the spoils.
Ah, I forgot to do the wild boot. Okay, I got some altars, and now I can just chill, right? The Harpies will just spawn the mobs. And me just, you know, just AFK a bit. On the stream titles, I usually put like AFK build, whatever. But it's not just AFK. As you can see, like the move speed is pretty decent. This is also a temp change map, by the way. So it's really not that bad. And you can even get faster than this. Like I'll show in a little bit, but there are some setups that you can do to make it even faster. Like do some delve running, stuff like that. And I kind of want to give a full showcase here, so you guys can also kind of see how stuff just kind of dies. Like I'm running like a fully beyond setup, well, a lot of beyond, and you'll see the harbingers, they spawn a lot of mobs, and shit just kind of magically keeps dying, even without me getting hit, right? Like the cast from stun is, this is a cast from stun build, yes, but it's actually not the thing that does damage here. The cast from stun is just kind of like a catalyst, basically. So yeah, you can see, like actually a lot of mobs are spawning, and their life bars, they just kind of like, you know, just go down. Okay, nice. Quick little showcase. Let me turn the sounds back on, the music. Okay, now, how does this work? Let's first go over the gear real quick. Fulcrum. None of the stats matter on this weapon at all. You don't need a 6 link either, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters on this weapon is the reflect elemental ailments. So whenever you inflict a chill, a shock, an ignite on an enemy, you will also get specifically that ailment reflected back to you. What this means for us is we use this two ways. What this means for us is that whenever I put like a 1 million ignite on a mob, the 1 million ignite is also put on me. Which sounds bad, but it's kind of cool. So that's Fulcrum. Winterweave. This gives us an insane amount of move speed. That's the only reason I use it. So we reverse chill, we get a 30% chill, or higher, like you can get it higher if you want. And it gives you a ton of move speed. That's it. Valerium, this makes it so basically every single hit will stun me. It doesn't matter, like any hit will stun me. Defiance, this just makes you tanky, like you don't need to think about it. It just makes it so you take less damage. You do not need this. It's kind of a balancing work depending on the content that you do, depending on the maps. Oh, I didn't show the map mods, but I run relatively like rippy maps, so it's just 20% daily, but I run like a turbo, like just more damage. Damage is extra. Like I run all of those, but these are not 8 modded as you can see, so could be worse. But I do run all of the map mod effect that I can. So look, currently this build performs this way, and it's tanky enough. You could drop the amulet, the Defiance of Destiny, for maybe a different amulet. I don't know, but it's not mandatory. It just makes you tanky and it's easy to use. No brainer. Cloak of Flame. This makes it so we don't fall over the fizz damage. My fizz max hit is really low. I'll even pull it up. Like it's pretty shit. Like even with the mage blood, right? Fizz max hit is like 6.6k, right? Which is kind of bad. So this fixes that. And later on I also explain the merc. The merc helps out a little bit with that as well. Then Mage Blood. You do not need Mage Blood. Mage Blood is completely not mandatory. I ran with a Biscos for a while just to get more rarity. You do not need Mage Blood. The only thing that Mage Blood does is it gives me more move speed, one. It gives me more rarity. And like a little bit more damage from the Silver Flask and a little bit more fire res. And lastly, what it does, it gives you a bunch of passive points, because this Ruby Flask fixes all of your max res, right? For Chieftain, max fire res applies to all res, so this Flask alone gives me 90% resistances, right? That's what Mage Blood does. It saves you like, it gives you move speed, rarity, bunch of damage, and it saves you like maybe like 8 to 10 passive points. I'll show it in a little bit. The rares, I'm running rarity everywhere. Obviously, you don't need that. Specifically, like even like the harbingers that I'm doing, right? The rarity doesn't affect the harbinger drops itself. So like you definitely do not need rarity. I just like doing it. So the rares are really simple. All you need is like fix your chaos res, get as much fire res as possible, life regenerate, and then get some max life so you don't get one shot. That's it. That's the basic gear. Yeah, let's go over the gems setup real quick. Now, I'll explain the Cosmon stun mechanics, the ignite mechanics, the fulcrum in a little bit, and our recoup situation. I'll explain it in a little bit, but let's first just go through the gems. You can do whatever you want. Just basically, you're gonna get stunned every hit. You're gonna use Cosmon stun, and you can just do whatever you want, right? This is my setup. You do not need to copy this setup. Just do whatever you think is good. I'll just explain why I choose these skills. I really enjoy having a 6-link Detonate Dead of Scavenging. Detonate Dead of Scavenging gives you a huge fire explosion that can ignite. This is an ignite build. That's it. So support gems, everything just to increase the damage, the AoE, and the ignite and the ignite duration. That's what I run. I'll explain a little bit more later when I go into fulcrum and ignite mechanics. Just 6-link big Detonate Dead of Scavenging setup for big ignites, okay? Then,
Give you
all
a
of the other Gotham stun gemlings is just utility. So Firestorm with pelting, this does fuck all for damage. Like, it actually does no damage. Flame Surge itself does fuck all for damage. Well, I mean it does a little bit, but we don't really care about the damage of Flame Surge. The only thing that Flame Surge does that's really really strong is that it creates burning ground based off the ignite affecting the enemy. You could see this as a 25% damage multiplier. It's pretty good. So Flame Surge is actually huge because of the burning ground that's based off the ignite on the mob. And I'll get into the ignite mechanics in a little bit. Calling Strike rarity, again, I just want to farm some uniques, right? That's fun. And then Punishment. Punishment is actually kind of like the only damaging curse that you could run. I think the map that I showcased was even curse immune map, so didn't do anything, but this is the only curse that will actually give you more damage. You can go for like defensive curses, you can go enfeeble, whatever. Like if you're doing tier 70s, you don't feel tanky enough, right? You can do whatever you want. Punishment just gives you more damage. And the debilitate makes you a little bit more tanky. So that's nice. Then, auras. These are mandatory. Arctic armor. This, again, fixes our fist damage taken. Petrified blood. Recoup shenanigans. We take a lot of dots. Like, dots are the thing that kills us. So, not getting one shot and recouping life is very, very, very strong. Purifier, besides the flask, this gives us our max res that we need. Again, for Chieftain. Run Eternal Blessing on whatever costs the most mana. It does have, sorry, the most life, because we reserve life, right? You can put this on, well, yeah, put this on Purity on Fire. Frostblink, yeah. You want to use Frostblink and not Flame Dash, because Frostblink, you can blink when you're getting like stun locked, or like when you're or when you're like frozen, or when you're slowed by Deli, right? Your action speed. We don't have anything against action speed, sadly. So sometimes Frostblink is kind of mandatory. Why I'm saying this is, yes, we are getting stunned, and as you can see, I was just running through the map. If you are doing really difficult maps and mobs aren't dying, and you have like 100, 200 mobs on the screen, or in Delve, right? You will get stun locked, actually. Like, we cannot completely remove the effect of stun. You will not be able to move, and a Frostblink will solve that. Also, the reason why I use Frostblink, I'll get into it in a second, is to remove my vines. So if you can see, I'm really slow, and only now I'm at normal move speed. So that's the vines build up. When I Frostblink, it's gone. Okay, bit of a tangent. Yeah, that's the basic gear setup. I use an automation with phase run, more move speed. That's it. I'll go over the flasks a little bit later, but the flask setup, you can just do whatever you want. You don't need more move speed, you don't need this sulfur flask, you don't need this rarity flask. The only thing that's really needed is the ruby flask, the rest you can do whatever you want. And the Oriaf's End, I'll get into this in a second. Fulcrum. Yes, so, as I said, ailments are reflected to you. We use this to basically give ourselves a really big Righteous Fire. Like, the damage can scale into, like, crazy amounts. How do we get a crazy Righteous Fire effect? Let's show you guys. Let's go to the Blood Aqueduct real quick. I feel like I need to explain these mechanics because it's a bit of a niche build, so this can take a little bit. So when we ignite an enemy, right, the ignite is reflected back on us, which is cool, but like that doesn't give us damage. Like that does nothing basically. There are two things that you can do to turn that ignite into something you can use as damage. You can either use Fan of Flames. Ignites inflicted spread to other enemies within a radius of 1.5 meters. That 1.5 meters is kind of important. You can get this on like a medium cluster like this, or you can get it on your glove implicit. Why I don't have it on my glove implicit is because I'm lazy and I didn't feel like making it. The glove implicit, like the high roll, like the exceptional, is 1.6 meters, which is better, obviously. But I just didn't do it. I stopped upgrading this build a long time ago. So, whatever. Okay, let's showcase. You see all of these little AoEs? This is the 1.5 meter Fan of the Flames. This, it does not reflect the actual AoE. Like by any means. It does not reflect the actual AoE. The actual AoE is like half the screen. Because we stack a bunch of ink AoE, right? Now, that Fan the Flames is reflected back on us. It's maybe a bit hard to see, but that little fire AoE is on us. So, the ignite you inflict is now an AoE around you. Hence why I call it like a righteous fire. If you get a 10 mil, 20 mil, 30 mil ignite, you now have a 30 mil ignite on you as an RF aura that has pretty good AoE. That's why when I run through the sewer, shit just dies, right? At the start, like I can't kill anything. Once the chain starts, right? When you start killing mobs, you can just zoom. You can just run as fast as you want. Because, here's the crazy part, it's not just RF, it's an ignite that spreads. So when you have an ignite on you, let's see if we can showcase this. So they need to hit me, right? Boom. We have an ignite. We have an ignite on us. That spreads. So you see how this is rare? Like when we get close to it, it then also gets ignited, right? So you can just kind of tag them. And especially if it's a group of mobs, right? Like the small mobs dies, explode, and then the rest of the pack dies. But even if that doesn't happen, you still tag them with an ignite that can start ticking down. So, very strong. Now, how do we get ignites? You need to get ignite chance, and that is a little bit tricky. If you don't have a mage spot, because currently I use, well, it's not tricky, but you need to change some passives around. So currently I have it on a flask, 34% chance to shock and ignite, right? Just get doubled. That's very easy. But I also have a non-mage spot setup here, where ignite chance. We just need to pick up more ignite chance on the tree, basically. So, for instance, you pick up this 20% instead of the dot multi here. You pick up this node, etc. Basically, you just want to get to 100% ignite chance, which means all of your fire damage always ignites. This is very important. Now, we have 100% ignite chance, like when you follow this tree with the setup, right? How do we actually get big ignites? Like what actually does damage here? Well, it's inner chorus, baby. That's why Chieftain is so nice. So, this shit is fucking busted, right? 5% chance to explode, dealing 500% of their maximum life as damage. That is an insane amount of base damage. Especially if you roll a map with like increased life, or I was gonna say it later, when you use Wellspring of Creation, 50% more life. That just gives you an insane amount of base damage, right? I won't go into the numbers in this video, but it's a lot. It's a lot of damage. When you start doing tier 17s, oh, your damage goes through the roof. It's just you need to first kill some mobs to get that 5% chance to explode. This is the reason why I run Detonate Dead of Scavenging. And the only Detonate Dead I run. So all of the corpses stay on the ground. We don't destroy any corpses. Only Detonate Dead of Scavenging destroys corpses. This means there's always a good amount of corpses on the ground that we can use to get a big Detonate Dead of Scavenging explosion, which has 100% ignite chance and has a bunch of ignite duration and ignite damage, right? And here's the cool part. Ignites, they stack, basically. So, when we kill some mobs here,
No sweat for you, boss.
you can see how I have a 7 second, 6 second, 5 second, you see it tick down, right? The second this ticks down, there's probably another ignite. Hold on, let's try and showcase that again. Basically, ignites will stack on your character, but only the strongest one is applied. So, we probably got multiple ignites there. So, it should tick down. And then, see, we have a 2 second, a 3 second. You see, I'm not refreshing ignites. These are just all of the ignites staggered on my character. I don't know what the cap is honestly, but you can get a lot of ignites on yourself or the target that tick down. You know, when the strongest one hits 0, the one that's just below that DPS wise starts ticking down, right? Well, no, sorry, gets applied on you, and they all tick down at the same time. So you can have a lot of ignites, and this is why I really think 100% ignite chance is very good, because whenever your Hinekor has explodes, right, you want it to hit as many mobs as possible to ensure, right, that you get that big ass ignite for as long duration as possible, because that means you can just keep going, right? You zoom through the map, you have this big ass ignite, and you're fishing for that 5% explosion, or the detonate dead of scavenging, right? Which is a lot less damage, but still quite a bit of damage. That's it. That is why ignite duration is massive. The Cloak of Flame, I have a 71% here. Ideally, you go 75%. This just means that you don't have like this gameplay, like, so you see how it's like 13 seconds, a little bit less, I think it's 12.5 seconds. All this time I am carrying a big ignite with me. So I don't need to stress out a bit. Like normally it's 6 seconds, right? If it's 6 seconds, it doesn't feel comfy to play at all, right? It doesn't feel chill. So that's why I invest as much as I can into ignite duration on enemies. That's the stat that actually works here. Not ignite duration on yourself. For instance, this ring implicit. Increased elemental durations on you. That doesn't work. The ignite is reflected on you based on whatever you put on the enemy, right? Your own modifiers don't like double dip apply again, right? It would be crazy, because then your damage, you double the ignite's damage basically, if that were the case. So that doesn't happen. So ignite duration on enemies, very important. And we have a ignite duration. We have a couple of nodes on the tree as well. Here you get 50%, right? And up here you get these nodes. That's it. You need to pick those up basically for it to feel nice. Yeah, so that's the ignites and the multiple ignites and how we get ignites, right? In a chorus explosion, detonate that explosions. And also Oreos and flasks, but we'll get into this a little bit later. Corpses keep their AoE ignite. As I showcased, when the corpses are on the ground, there's this like pulsating fire effect, right? That's the fan the flames ignite. That's on them. They stay, from my understanding, for the duration of the ignite, or if the corpse is consumed. So here, for instance, yeah, you can see it. And then after 13 seconds, this should kind of disappear, right? These ignites. If you're doing content like Beyond, Breach, Harvey, whatever, where like there's a big density of mobs that keep spawning, Delve, for instance, right? Ultimatum, even Ritual. I haven't done Ritual, but obviously this is good in Ritual. Anywhere where you're just standing in a place, or like a bunch of mobs are kind of spawning in the same place, and you can keep chaining, right? This shit is really good, right? Because you have a big ignite on the ground, more mobs spawn, and then those mobs instantly take like big ass ignites, right? Dying and then even proccing more explodes, you know? And this happens off screen, like you don't need to be near it, right? It just happens for 13 seconds, that shit keeps going. So that's pretty good. Alright, that's the ignite mechanics explained. I hope that's clear. A little bit of a rant, but whatever. Nice. Next up, the Cosmon stun mechanics. Cosmon stun, as I explained, we already have the gem setups, right, which can trigger our spells. It's also our defensive setup. So, what we do is we get a blood notch. I have 59%, you only need 58. 58% of damage from stunning hits is recovered as life, right? As long as you don't get one shot, this shit is like, let's just say, right, 59% damage reduction, basically, because like you will recoup it as long as you don't get killed during that process, right? you have infinite health basically, right? Just don't get one shot. The goal is to hit 100% of this, which is surprisingly easy to do. I will go over this in a little bit more on the skill tree. But yeah, that's Blood Notch. Now, how are we getting stunned? Valerium, right? Your stun threshold is based on your energy shield. I have 0 energy shield. We do this with Agnostic. If you have no energy shield on your gear, you don't even need Agnostic. Let me check. Yeah, so even 88 energy shield, if there's like a white mob that does 1 damage, we probably don't get stunned. So having Agnostic just means that like every hit, doesn't matter what mob or like ground explosion, whatever, right? Any hit will stun, which will trigger all of our shit, right? It will trigger all of our spells. That's it. Now the problem, getting stunned every time kind of sucks. You will literally be stun locked, you can't walk. So the way you fix it is by running an immutable force. You do not need the corrupted blood one, and the roll doesn't matter. There's a breakpoint at I should have written this down, but like 961%, where apparently it feels better. Now I've tried max rolled once. I don't see a difference. Apparently people do feel the difference. Whatever. I've been playing on Europe servers and shit's laggy anyway, so I don't feel it. So you can get a min roll. You can get 500%. It does not matter. If you feel the difference at the like 961 breakpoint or whatever it is, good for you. I don't feel it. So just get whatever roll. Doesn't matter. So this just basically means the stun effect. There's no stun effect basically. You basically cannot feel the stun effect, which is really good. Now, how do we get 100% recoup? I've written this down just to be sure, but as I said, Blood Notch rolls from 40 to 60%. In my build, all you need is 58%, but again, we have more recoup we have over 100% recoup anyway, so you can even go lower if it's cheaper. But let's just say 58%. Then you get this infused flash node. This is 30% total, right? And then you get the Ignite. That's a 12% recoup. That is already 100%. Now, we even have more from Unfaltering here. So 10% is recovered as life. So, from my testing, this shit works, going over 100%, because this is not recoup, right? This is just recovered as life. And the Blood Notch is also recovered as life. And this is like actual recoup. So, the recoup mechanics, there are people who know more about this. I don't know exactly, but this feels good enough for me. But maybe it's actually too much. Maybe I can even drop this annoyance. That's something to maybe look into. But yeah, we're over 100% recoup combined with this. Which, you know, makes it so we can't die unless we get one shot. Very good. Next version, or next part of this build that makes me go really fast. Actually, also, which makes me go really fast, and that's winterweave. The effect of chill of you is reversed. How do we self-chill? Easy, we're using fulcrum, right? It's a no-brainer. Elemental ailments are reflected to us. We use this for our ignite, right? Now we can also use it for chill if we have a way to figure out chill. There are a couple ways to chill, but honestly the easiest way to get a chill is just use Oriov's End. 25% chance to explode. It can roll up to 30%, so this is even like the best flask. You can roll like a 30% one, which would be better. But again, I kind of stopped upgrading this build. Random element, right? So this is fire, lightning, cold damage. So you will get your shock, you will get your ignites, like if you need it, right? 25, like a 10% explode is still pretty good for a decent ignite. And this is how we get our chill. This flask alone just gives me 30% chill, right? That's a 30% action speed multiplier. So it makes you go really fast. That's it really. There are other ways of getting chills, right? You could probably do some like cool setup with like, again, we're very free in what we do with our cast 1 stun. Like I have a cast 1 stun, Blood Rage, Purifying Flame, Summon Flame Golem. You can do whatever you want. So like if you have another way of getting the chills, good. Oriole's End also gives you shock, which is huge damage multiplier. So I think it's kind of a no-brainer to use this on like a mapping build, but like this specifically, this type of mapping build. It's kind of a no-brainer. Like the shock is really good. Yeah, that's kind of the basic mechanics, I think. So we get stunned, we recoup more than 100% of the damage taken. Combined with Petrified Blood and Defiance of Destiny means like we straight up just can't die unless we get one shot. We self-ignite with Fan the Flames or the Glove Implicit. And then we just explode corpses, right? For the big ass ignites. That's it basically. Let's go over the passive tree real quick. Let's do it with the mage build because that's the current setup I'm running. Basically, you just get life and damage. As I said, the only like really mandatory nodes are the ignite duration, in my opinion. You need that to make this build feel good. So the ignite duration on enemies, you need to have it. And ignite chance, right? Like however you fix your ignite chance, you need in my opinion 100% ignite chance to make it feel good. Then next up, this version. I've done other versions in other leagues, but this version I'm running blood magic. It's just simple, right? Like I don't need to run life step everywhere. It's just easy peasy. Our life doesn't matter, right? As long as we don't get one shot, it's whatever. So it doesn't feel that bad reserving your life because again we're running petrified blood anyway, so it's free. Then yeah, what is important? I'm running Supreme Ostentation. This makes it so I don't need to care about attributes. You can probably do it without Supreme Ostentation, but like currently if I click this off, right, I have 48 dex. I need 155. I have 14 int. I need 155. I have 62 strength. There is very difficult to fix your attributes when you're using this many uniques. So it's probably kind of mandatory, but maybe there is a way around it. Maybe you can build it a bit differently and somehow get all these attributes, but it's really difficult because you want the high level detonate dead of scavenging, you want the high level support gems, right? And you want the high level purity flame, etc. It's difficult to fulfill the attributes, so I'm running Supreme Ostentation. This is a Caspiro Elegant Hubris. That's the only thing that matters. In my setup, I'm running like a super nice one with a double 37 chaos res, like as a one pointer, right? In my other setup, I don't have this, but this basically makes it so it's very easy for me to fix my chaos res. I have no idea how expensive this shit is now. I bought this at 20 div and I bought another one at 30 div. But this was early on, so yeah, that's just probably expensive as fuck at this point. Yeah, as I said, agnostic, we picked that, so we always get stunned basically. Then yeah, the ignite spread, fan the flames. This is mandatory. You either get it here or in your glove implicit from Searing Exarch. And then yeah, this one is kind of interesting. So this is why I have divines on me. Natural affinity. This gives you, so this is the unique, like a unique cluster, right? This gives you less damage taken when you're standing still. So when you have 10, so when you're standing still, the vines start accumulating on you, and they stack up to 10 vines. So this is 10% less damage taken when you're chilling. So when you're farming Harpy, Ultimatum, whatever, right? It's really strong. Now, this also gives you chance to deal double damage. Any percent chance of double damage basically gives you double damage. Because as I've explained, you can have, from my understanding, infinite ignites stacked on you and the enemies, right? So whenever you explode a pack of, let's say, with the Harbingers, right, like 50 mobs, in a course, explosion procs or like a detonate dead goes off, right? That hits 50 mobs.
where we headed today?
that double damage is gonna apply to one of the mobs. Now I might be wrong on this, maybe I'm wrong on the mechanics of this, and it's not rolled individually. But from my understanding, this is rolled individually. So from my so if it's rolled individually, this instantly gives you double damage, right? Because all of these ignites are getting spread around, like hundreds of ignites are applied on all of the mobs in the pack, right? Because all of them explode, chain react, put hundreds of ignites on each other. One of them is gonna roll the double damage, right? And as I said, the strongest ignite is the one that's actually taking down and dealing damage. So this just doubles your damage output, which is kind of nuts if you think about it. The only downside is you have these dumbass vines on you, and like it's really sluggish to move around, as I explained. And that's why Frostblink kind of helps with that. Like when you want to get rid of them, they're instantly gone. That's the downside. It is a bit annoying, especially in like town or in like a Kingsmart in your hideout. It like feels a bit bad, but it's kind of worth the trade-off, and it makes you more tanky. So it's kind of good. Alright. I don't think I've explained the AoE, but I just kind of described it, right? I lean heavily anywhere I can. Like you see, I even picked this, right? I get AoE into this build. If you have if you craft your gloves, you can even replace this, right? Like you don't need Phantom Flame, you replace this with another, like Towering Threat or Sword Dominance, like even more AoE. This just means that my Hinakoras is basically screen wide. That 5% chance for the 500% life explosion, right? Or corpse life explosion. That's basically screen wide. This just ensures that we have big ignite uptime, always. That's what this does. If you don't go any AoE at all, in my opinion, the build does not feel very consistent to play, right? Like it's a bit of a gamble if you have big ignites on you or not. Okay, last notable, Elemental Overload. This, from my understanding, does not work with Hinakoras, but it does work with your Detonate Dead of Scavenging. So, it's a big multiplier. There's no way we can fit in crit multi, so going Elemental Overload is kind of a no-brainer. Oh, also, this note is kind of good. It's a percent recovery when you're stunned, which is always. Okay, because we have no attributes, we can tattoo every single node we want. So I get reduced effective curses combined with purifying flame. Again, we're using a mage blood, so the consecrated ground isn't created all the time. So purifying flame gives you consecrated ground, and then it makes me curse immune. That's pretty good. Then the rest of the red nodes. So if you somehow have issues with getting ignite chance, right? Like somehow you cannot, like we're even without mage blood, right? So normal layout. Let's say for some reason it's just impossible to roll a flask with ignite chance, right? Oh, I don't have it here. Let's say somehow it's impossible to get ignite chance. You could tattoo your red node with ignite chance. Problem is these things cost like divine each or more. Excuse me. So I'd rather just get the generic fire damage because this applies to all of my damage, right? Okay. That should be everything. The rest is self-explanatory. You just get elemental damage, you get AoE, you get life. That's it. If you feel like you're tanky enough, you drop life nodes, you get more dot multi, right? Or just generic damage, generic fire damage, whatever you want. If you want to be even more tanky, you can get endurance charges, which is really, really strong. Like that will make you so much more tanky. It's just, I'm running Eldritch Altars, and I want to click every single altar without looking ever. So I don't run endurance charges.
What's up?
If I could, I would, but I can't because you just instantly kill yourself on this build if you click the altar node and you have endurance charges. Alright, next up. This is kind of an important one. The mercenary. Well, not important, but this fixes a lot of our tankiness. There are four things here, or 5 things that are very important. 1, haste. if you don't want to go fast, you can do whatever else you want, right? But I just want to go fast. That's kind of the idea of the build, right? Just gonna get move speed, but not too much. I'll show. We have other ways of getting even more move speed, but this is comfy for me. Otherwise, it gets a bit annoying looting and stuff. Like it gets too fast with like tailwind and onslaught. So haste, it's very nice. Also makes it so the merc can kind of like easily keep up. So it's good. Garb of the Ephemeral, none of this matters. The only thing is that nearby enemies cannot deal crits. This solves our crit. Because crit maps, let me tell you, if the merc is dead, and the merc can die for sure. Like you can maybe get an even tankier setup than this, but when the merc dies, you feel it. If it's like the Giga crit map, right? Like insane multi, and more damage mods, I actually feel it. I see my health going down, you know? I'm like, oh shit, I could get one tapped here. So yeah, crit immunity kind of really needed. Previous versions of the build, like let's say you cannot get this chest piece, like somehow it's like super expensive. Let's say, yeah, somehow like it's too expensive, 6 divines, or early in the league, right? It's too expensive. There are these armor nodes that here, the armor mastery. 30% reduce extra damage from crits, and you can also tattoo crit, and you can get corrupted implicit for reduced crit. So you can fix it that way. Hold on, let me see if I can. How do we do this again? No. Yeah, you get this the turtle one, reduce extra damage from crits. So you can tattoo those if you want. But yeah, I highly suggest to get the garb. It's super good. Then, Combs Binding, 25%. This fixes our Fizz max hit, right? Like 25% physical damage taken fire, combined with the Cloak of Flames. Very good. So those two pieces, in my opinion, are mandatory. Then Zob's Heart is just a really good damage multiplier. In case anyone... I didn't go over the Chieftain Ascendancy, because I kind of assume most people kind of know how it works, but let's just quickly do it. Big explosion. Nearby enemies, when you're stationary, so this is important, when you're stationary, they are set to -20. So, minus resist, ally weakness, flammability, that shit does nothing for us if we're standing still, right? So, we just set the enemy's resist to -20. So, like my merc, casting ally weakness is cosmetic most of the time. Like it's just cute, but it doesn't really do anything until you start moving. And then, well, the mechanics of like your fire res applies to your ally res, and your max fire res applies to your max ally fire res, right? That's the chieftain. So, covered in ash does give you just increased damage taken, right? Like enemies covered in ash, 20% increased fire damage taken. That's kind of big because we don't have that many like increased damage taken multis. It's actually we do. We have the 30% shocks from this fast. Like if we're exploding big packs, right? We basically on rares we have 30% shock, and then we have our curse, right? So we have punishment, which it's like 58%. So we have a relatively big amount of increased damage taken, but this is kind of good. This is still good. 20% more damage taken. The rest, just do whatever you want to keep the merc alive. Okay, so these boots are cool. The scorch is cool because again, when you're moving around, you don't set the enemy's resist, right? So when you're zooming around, you don't set the enemy's resist, your explosions. So this is actually good, right? So when you're moving around, this scorch does make it so like when you're running, exploding packs, this shit actually gives you more damage, right? The scorch. Because it reduces the nearby enemies' resistances. So you could also go from like the All's Helm, right? Like nearby enemies have minus resist. You could do it. I just don't feel like I need it. Like from the map showcase, you can see that like shit just dies. So it's all good. Okay, this might look a bit weird, especially with these gloves. Just ignore the gloves for now. I don't have a weapon equipped. This really comes down to if you feel it or not. Sometimes I put it on, sometimes I put it off. I test it a lot. The merc will steal your fucking kills, right? The problem is we cannot make the merc not kill shit, because when you use southbounds, right, which means it can only kill mobs that are frozen, we are freezing screens with this shit, with the RSM, right? We're doing big fucking cold explosions, which in return gives us a lot of move speed from winterweave. But that also means we're freezing like all of the mobs, right? So you can't use southbound. So my solution, just unequip the weapon. And so the reason I don't want the merc to be killing anything is that we are fishing for Hinakora's explosions, right? We are fishing for that 5% chance for the big fucking explosion to put those big ignites on us and the enemies. So you can't have the merc killing shit. It feels bad. Like from the start of the league, I was like, is this build somehow nerfed, right? Like, where are my explosions? This was the fix. Just remove the weapon. She won't attack anymore. She will just do Inspiring Cry, Haste, Ellie Weakness, but doesn't use the skills that actually can kill stuff. Especially because we're like a dot-based build, right? So like rares that like take down, like not everything gets one shot, right? Not one big hit. The merc definitely can sneak some kills in, you know? So, yeah. Now, let's say your merc is dying. You can use the Soul Ascension tech, right? Equip a blue one with no damage basically, and then she gets Soul Eater. That's good. Like if you feel like the merc is dying too much, because again, when the merc dies, you lose a bunch of you lose your crit immunity, and like your phys max hit like goes like way down. So you kind of don't want the merc to die. Merc is really good, and the quantum rarity you get from the party member, right? So I don't want the merc to be dying. However, with my current setup, there's only one mod that kills my merc, and I've tried everything, but I can't make my merc tanky enough, and that's the like remove 9% of life and energy shield on hit. Because when I'm farming harbingers, they spam ball lightning, and that just insta kills the mercs, right? Also for us, it's rippy, but we can do it. It's just really rippy. Like you could die. Like it gets sketchy. Like I actually see my life go down. So. Yeah, that's the only map mod this merc setup can't tank. Life gain on block shields. The rings, the helm just gives you bitter regen. I don't know, you could use something else if you want. Rings are just for res. That's basically it. Yeah, I think that's the generic setup. Now, if anyone knows anything about Godwin Stun, is that there are way better Godwin Stun setups, right? Like actual Godwin Stun, Giga Chat, Giga Tank, tank anything in the game, right? 8k life, you know, crazy setups. This is not that. This build is not very tanky. This build is just enough to survive the content that I'm doing. You can get way more tanky, you can sacrifice way more move speed, you can sacrifice way more AoE, but this is a map blaster, right? That's the goal of this. Now, if you want to farm ultimatums, I've done this a lot as well because I think it's fun. I like farming ultimatums, I like seeing the double crops, I like gambling with the glimpses of chaos. It's fun. It's fun valuing stuff. So, when I run ultimatums, I do a little bit of a swap. A tiny bit of a swap, and I'll give a showcase as well. Because, you know, when you play Cosmic Stun, you want to be able to do ultimatums, you want to be able to AFK them. So, what I do is I bring this Hateful Accuser ring. I'll show it in a second when we do the boss fight. Because I said this build sucks at bosses, but there are some like, you can kind of get around it, but it's jank. And it works in ultimatum, but in like a real boss fight, like a pinnacle boss fight, you have 0 damage. I do a boot swap. Because I want to be able to get a quality portal in, and like I can't fit it in with the Cosmic Stun, and you could, but like it continuously creates portals all the time, and you misclick and it's annoying. So I have a boot swap for it, just because of the socket pressure, and I really like running my Flame Golem for more AoE, so I don't want to give that up. Okay, so we swap boots. Let's put in an ultimatum. This is a white ultimatum. Again, this build is not giga tanky. So I'm running white ultimatums. I would not do this setup and run like fully like 8 mods, like really rippy ultimatums. Also, there's no point doing that, but that is not, like, this build cannot do that. Just like a warning there. Ultimatum, and let's go.
How's it? Oh, I think my auntie looked around.
Let's just double check. Nope. Again, let's get explosion, and then we move.
Return to the
So you see how there, like, it took a little bit to get like an explosion. You need to like 1 or 2 packs, and then basically you get your ignites going, and that's good. All right, so we're at the ultimatum, right? No, like we don't need to do anything special. I'm not gonna explain the ultimatum, but we just chill. Sadly, we got a survival one, so this is gonna take a little bit. But like, you don't need to do anything. You just relax.
Stray too far and
Click the
find
mods.
pain.
Just like if you were to play any other Cosmo stun build, you just AFK here. It's all good.
Flames
Now,
get more flames.
you can get tankier, right? Like, I'm still wearing rarity gear. So you can, I have it in the POV as well, but like, for instance, these boots don't have rarity. These have more life, more regen. More regen is really good for ultimatum, because sometimes you need to pick like shit mods, like the fist damage on the ground. That shit hurts. Like, really hurts. So yeah, like swapping gear is not a bad idea. Like, getting like a lot more life would feel really nice.
A sea of fire crashes upon your shores.
But yeah, you can kind of see that
Lightning always strikes
you don't really
twice.
need fulcrum for this, right? The fulcrum doesn't really benefit much here, because those ignites on the ground, like, you see it, right? They apply to the mobs like no matter what. You do not need a fulcrum for this to happen. It's just fan the flames or your glove implicit.
The horde adapts.
That's it basically. Also, another note, your elders implicit. I'm lazy with this. You can get like, these are just like I think the cheap ones. Ink AoE and damage taken, like fist taken as, is really good on the helmet. I don't think I would swap it for anything else. On the gloves, you can go for the exceptional X-Arc, right? To get the big ignite spread. Which would be better, 'cause then you can get another cluster for more AoE. And then the boots, action speed, and I have ignites to deal damage faster. This is double-edged sword. This means your durations of your ignites are lower, but it's kind of a damage increase. So I'm on the fence about this one. And here these boots, I have nothing. It's fine. Right.
Relentless
Okay,
assault.
so pause.
Dead.
We still have a 10-second ignite stacked on us. Probably another one behind it that's like even longer, right? So whenever he's done doing his role playing, telling his little story, and we can damage him, this ignite will do damage, right? That's the beauty of the ultimatum with the fulcrum. If you didn't have fulcrum, you wouldn't have this ignite, so you wouldn't have damage on this guy, right? So what we're gonna do here is, and this is mandatory if you want to do this, there's no ways about it, you need a Val Breach. You need to pop a Val Breach, so we're gonna spawn some corpses, right? We're gonna kill some mobs, spawn some corpses. So during the fight, we can explode them with the scavenging and actually have some sustained damage, because 10 seconds, like, he's gonna yap for 6 seconds, and then we have a 4-second window to kill him with the ignite. If you had like a giga ignite, you can just one tap him. It has happened, but that's not the norm. So you have that. We have the Val Breach, right? And then I'm gonna also do the ring swap, and I'll show you in a second. So we pop the Val Breach, boop. Pause function is amazing for explaining this. So we pop the Val Breach. You kind of need to run Enhance, because, or get a quality version. If you're not running this, it takes too long to cast the Val Breach. The environmental effects, like the saw blades, the lightning calls, and the turrets, right? They will attack you. And with the recent, I don't know exactly when they did this, but a couple weeks ago, they made it so you are stun immune when casting Val skills. You don't get your recoup, so you just fucking die. So You need a bit of quality to make sure that it's fast enough so you don't kill yourself. Okay, we can do the ring swap because again, winterweave doesn't do anything here. And then this gives us the penance mark, which summons little ghosts, similar to worms, which we can then explode. So I'm just holding down my E button, right? Because we only have one curse. And then you can see, well, our big ignite did its work. Each ripped. Let's say we didn't have this big ass ignite. We'd rely on the corpse explosions, right? To kill him.
And fortune is yours.
So, yeah, that's basically it. Let me just double check. This is probably a long video. I don't know how I'm gonna like cut this, but yeah, that's it. That's how this build works. Oh yeah, small setup. You can do the boots to go even faster. Maybe it's good to include this. So this is tailwind movespeed boots, right? And these are not good, but it's just to demonstrate, right? Tailwind movespeed boots. And I swap out my rarity flask for an onslaught flask. I guess it's an easy way to display it. No, let's go to the blood aqueduct. That's a good way to show it. Oh, I did make a new instance. So when you run this, we get up to, let's see, I think it's like 280. Let's see, so we need a big ignite.
Oh, sibling, a fine job, Malaysia, fine job.
So yeah, so we get up to like 260-ish movement speed. Again, 30% chills, phase run. It feels kind of nice. So this is without auras or anything like that, of course. If you don't run this, so like normal setup, right? We have a little bit less move speed, but for me it's comfy enough. So let's see. So yeah, it's like 220, 230. So yeah. You can make up your mind about that, like if it's worth it, getting tailwind boots, if it's worth it. I don't even know if my tailwind proc there, like we need a bit more density, but like you can see you can get more move speed. There are also more like move speed, like action speed multiplier, stuff like that. I don't have action speed multiplier on this one, which would be even better. Yeah. That's it. Thank you for watching. I'm streaming on Twitch, YouTube and Kick. I usually play this build. My goal is to farm, try and get a mirror to drop from the converted mirror shard to a full mirror with Harbinger. I doubt we'll ever hit it, but I'm farming a bunch of Harbingers in Toxic Sewers. And then like some Delve nowadays as well, and a little bit of Ultimatum. Another thing, this build really shines in Breach. It shines in open maps as well. Like I'm showing Sewers because it's just I like Sewers, but in open maps this works really well as well. So you can figure out whatever league mechanic you want to do with this. Thank you for watching. Have a good one. See ya.